Fine. So in the last session, we just covered these topics, and now we'll see what if analysis. Okay. So it's all about conducting analysis how the depreciation would get resulted if you change some depreciation related parameter. Okay, we'll just go and test it. So just go to the instance, navigate to assets. So yeah, go to assets. So in general, we can find perform what if analysis. Just go to what if analysis. So here, this is a book we want to use for analysis, and the starting period for the analysis is say July month, because already we closed June month. So currency, we want to perform this analysis for how many periods? Say 5 months. And for which assets you want to do the analysis? You may select specific asset or entire category or some other criteria. This all comes under the category criteria. We'll go with the entire category. For specific category, we'll do the analysis. Say Google buildings, minor categories. Say office buildings. So for this category, we have all that information, number of years, and depreciation method, etc. Say for example, if you are going to use the same depreciation method for this category of assets, but if you are going to change the lifetime for this asset, how that would result in the depreciation calculation. If you are going to use this building, you are going to have for 50 years, how the depreciation need to be calculated. Or if you are going to change the prorate conversion, how that would result. If you want to know, you can change that certain parameters and submit. Now system will generate the report, how it will impact the changes. If you change to 50 years of the life for those category of assets, how that would reflect, will generate the report. It's just its analysis, right? Just you can go to schedule processes. So prepare what if analysis. Basically, it has to trigger the report. That's not happening. It has to generate the report also. Output it's not generating. Okay. Seems to there is some issue in this environment. Just that's how we'll submit, and it will display the report, which will be showing as of as per current properties of that asset, whatever the information we have, and based on the changes, how that would be different. It shows basically report. It's not triggering the report. This process it is running, but it is not calling the report. Maybe some instance specific issue. But 1 second, we'll try from there itself. So scope here. Nothing. Here below also it is not showing that process panel, of course. That just make a note. So since report is not getting generated, you cannot see that result. But that is a purpose of this what if analysis, as we know in EBS. And we'll look at the retirement process, how to do the how to retire the asset. We just go to task list and say retire asset. So you may select specific asset. First, we'll see what are the assets we have. Okay. We can go with this asset. Yes, directly you can select from here instead of searching with the specific number. So you can do the retire cost-based retirement or unit-based retirement. If this asset has a multiple units, the partial units also you can retire, or else cost-based if you want to do, you can go with the cost-based unit retirement. So I'm going with the retirement unit-based. Almost we have assets with a one unit only. So you can just specify here how many units you are going to retire. The one unit we have, the one unit we are going to retire the asset. So say submit. You may write the comments why you are retiring. That's it. Done. So from now, once we're done with this asset should not display in this list. So here you could see retirements. One is ready to post. It's done automatically. It's posted also. From now, if you go to this retirement, you don't see that building one. Retire assets. Click on search. You don't see, but it's posted right. Same asset we retired right. Why it is showing here? It should not display in this list. If you go to assets, so just now we retired, right? So basically, it should not come here. It just now we retired. Why it is displaying? Maybe the record is not getting updated. So once we do the retirement process, if you want to, if you think like by mistake you performed, you can reinstate. You will be finding in the reinstate asset. The assets which are retired, you can find in the reinstate section to reinstate them, just to undo them. Just search, you can find the asset here which you retired. The building one here it is appearing. Say you want to undo this retirement, you can just click on reinstate. So building one. So say yes. So once you do that, you can click on search. That should not be available here since we are undoing the retirement. Done. And now we'll see how to load the assets information through FPDA template. Fine. So now to download the template. We know that process which we followed for payables, receivables, same. So say Oracle OER. Go to financials. So the version which you are using is release 13. Select it. Now you can go to section called as use. Under that you can find file based data import. Say books. So you can go to HTML, file based data import. These are the finance related templates available. Now just you can download this template. Fixed assets mass addition import. Say save link as. Sorry. Click on this. This is a template. Say save link as. Create folder FPDI Google FA. So which sub process we have to run? Post mass additions. Fine. Now you can go to the template. So I'm just prepare with the data. Fine. Just remove the sample data and interface line number. Since a mandatory column, you can keep it. Asset book. So provide our asset book here to take the reference of information reference. Okay, we can just open this asset creation function. Okay, say add asset. From here we can take the reference information to prepare the data in the spreadsheet. So book name is Google Corp, that you can enter directly here. Asset number is not mandatory, system will generate. Asset description may write as FPDI asset. Asset type is capitalized. Asset cost say $22,000 and date placed in service. So the format should be year, month and date. Year, month and date. This is a month. June 19th, 2018. Prorate convention. Okay, the prorate convention. Fine. We can just take it later. No issues. And the units say 1 unit. Asset category. Okay, just take asset category from here. So Google buildings and office buildings. Just copy and paste this category name. Major categories Google buildings. The minor categories office buildings. Done. Okay, posting status, post queue status, post. Yes, you can keep it as is so that system will create asset directly, or else we have to go with the prepare source lines and we have to perform the activity. Not required. Remove all this. Asset key. Asset key segment. I think we have a keys like 1, 2, 3 also. You may enter that key. Or technology. So that's how we have asset keys. We'll see that. We'll just navigate to that. Just let me provide this information just for to fetch other details. This is depreciation expense account. Vehicle is all we can accept. Property type, personal. Property class not required. Use yes. If these we can accept, no issues. Amortization, depreciation, say yes. Want to depreciate this asset, salvage value not applicable. Just go through all the columns. So necessary data we can keep, and if you want to add something you can add it. So depreciation method is straight line, and life in months. 36 means just 3 years. Say 360 months. That means 30 years. Bonus and all. Invoice cost not applicable. Here you can provide the cost clearing account. So 1000, company department 1000. You can just look at what is the number for asset clearing account. One 7710. Just verify all the attributes. Fine. So no records. Okay, fine. There is some data. This is something like source lines related, like if the asset reference, if you want to provide related to payables, data, projects and all, you can give it here. That fine. The basic details we provided for asset definition here, and now you can go to mass addition distributions. Here also we have a sample data, and you can remove all the records except one record. So assignment. This is asset assignments. Okay, we assign to employee, location, expense account. So units assigned one only. Employee email address not required. So asset location. Okay, provide asset location. From here you can take the values. So country, state or county, city, and the fourth segment is building. If it is not applicable, you may use the value as none. And here you have to provide the depreciation expense account. So 1000, company, department 1000, and depreciation expense account is 56010. We have three segments only. Remove other segment values from sample data. Done. So mass rates and all this information is not required. So that's all. Just we given the required information. Here, just click on next. We'll take the asset key information also. What are the asset keys we have? If you want to take it, you can take it, or else you may ignore it. But in the header level we given. Done. Now we can generate CSV file. Save it. Save it. Done. Now we can load the file into application. So what name we given here? FPDI asset. Fine. So first we have to go to schedule process. Now we have a common job called as load interface file for import, right? Load interface file for import. Search for the job. Load interface file for import. Say OK. So what sub job we have to use? Here we have that information. Post mass additions. Select post mass additions. Data file we don't have in the UCM. Directly we can browse and select. So upload a new file. Browse. So select zip file. Say OK and submit. So now what system will do? The system will populate the FA mass addition interface table with this data. The next step we have to submit import post mass additions, so that system will bring the data into application and it will create asset. Fine, done. Now just refresh the same navigation to submit another job. The same job you have to submit post Massachusetts. Yes, this is a book where we want to take that asset. So submit. Find that. Now we can go and find the asset. Go to assets or asset inquiry. You can go with asset inquiry. Search. You can find FPDA asset. This is an asset which we loaded. Right. Just we given $22,000. The spreadsheet. So this we know very well. Just its data is different. We executed in payables and receivables, same process. And the other one, creating accounting entries and transferring to general ledger. So it's quite common task for any application. So you can perform from the schedule process, or even you can find the task from the task list also. So create accounting. For which book you want to perform, Google Corp. Process category, say all, and everything you can just say okay. Say transfer to general ledger, yes. Post in the general ledger, say yes. Then you can submit. We know system will create accounting entries for all the events. So additions, depreciation, retirement, transfers, for everything it will create accounting entries and it will transfer to general ledger. You can just monitor the job. For it will create and it will transfer to GL, as well as it will post all the journals in GL also related to assets. Okay, if we can just go and find the same information. Additions under retirements. What we did posted. And the depreciation and all we calculate in the not July month. Okay, we didn't create assets in July month. If you search with the July, you can find all the July month related journal entries which are flowing from fixed assets. Search with the June. So most of the additions we did in the June on depreciations. Yes. So that's how we can create accounting and we can transfer to GL. So this overview on the period close process, already I shared the document which will cover all the modules. So that's all. Just we're done with the retirement statement, this and accounting entries. This is anyway just document which I just mentioned. And here tax book also we covered, right? Mass copy. Done. Now the pending is we have that will be testing. And since we're done with the P2P O2C, I mean payables and receivables core process, will go with the cash management. So in this environment, so we don't have any payments in the accounts payables. Okay, so now we require payments information in payables and receipt information in receivables, but it's not mandatory.
Lakshman, one question.
Yeah.
Do we have the concept of account generator, the flex bill builder or FAH?
Yeah, yes, FH we have. Financial,
So,
we call as Fusion Accounting Hub.
all right. So if I have to change something from the source of the accounts, then I need to use Fusion Account Hub. Is
Not,
that right?
not required. You can do through SLA, Subledger Accounting.
Okay. So we have the same concept of e-business right here in Fusion also.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
Same. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Fine. So now just the in this is again we know like this is a new instance which we configured recently. So in payables, I think last session we created few invoices, but those are not processed for payment. What we'll do is we will go and process the payment for those invoices so that at least the payment information would be available in cash management. So we can use that data for testing purpose to understand how the reconciliation will work. Fine. Just I copied this course content from the course curriculum. Okay, what are the course curriculum we shared like for cash management? These are the topics. So bank statement creation through manual process, manual reconciliation, auto reconciliation, creating the external cash transaction through manual process and generating them automatically. We'll go one by one. So when I talk about the configuration, for cash management, so primarily we have to set up transaction codes. Okay, so we know in case of EBS, so we don't need to set up the transaction codes in case of manual reconciliation. Those are mandatory in case of auto reconciliation, but in the Fusion, even if you want to do the manual reconciliation, the bank transaction codes are mandatory. Okay, and to work on the bank transaction cash management related process, we have to assign one role to the user, that is nothing but cash manager. One second, so to the font I have increased. Yeah. So say assign cash manager role to user. This cash manager role will allow us to work on all these functions. Okay, we'll just go and assign. The synchronization may take some time. So, and once we're done with that, we'll proceed with the other setup called as bank transaction code. Say create bank transaction codes. Bank statement transaction codes. Fine. So go to security console. Just we have to assign the role called as cache manager to user. We no need to map anything to the role. Okay, right? We know like the cache management is not BU specific. So go to users. Our username is Google. Just click on username. Say edit. Click on add role. So job name is cache manager. Just click on add. Save and close. And submit the role synchronization. Okay, this role sometimes take more time for synchronization. Better we can submit LDAP job and we can proceed with the other setups. Meantime, this will get ready. So when you're practicing, if you see the case where this role is not reflecting, role related functionality is not reflecting in the navigator, only the option is we have to wait for some time. Generally, this cache manager role synchronization takes time when you compare with other roles. We'll see now how it is going to work. We are adding. Even sometimes this cache manager, after completing this job also, it won't reflect the functionality. In that case, only the option is we have to wait for some time. If you go to navigator, under cache management, by default you will see the cache balances. Because of the cache manager, it will add the task called as bank statements and reconciliation. It's not yet added. We'll wait for some time. Meantime, we'll go and create the bank transaction codes. Go to project. Bank transaction codes. Okay. Manage bank statement transaction codes. Click on go to task icon. Even for manual reconciliation also, bank transaction codes are mandatory in Fusion, whereas in EBS optional. Only for auto reconciliation only those are required. So these are the codes which are already available, which are predefined as well as created by some others who are practicing on this instance. We'll go and create our own code. So transaction code make you 888. Say description is payment. Transaction type is check payment. Rest of information not required. Specification classification not required. Done. We given payment that we given the type as a check that we can use for both the payables payments and receivables customer payments. For payments and receipts we can use. You no need to have a separate at the time of transaction creation. There will be flow indicator whether that is a cash inflow or outflow. Okay, so then we create a transaction code which we can use in the payment for payables payments and receivable receipts. Just verify cash management, still cash balances already showing. So we'll sign out and sign in, and we'll check it once. So normally this role takes some time for synchronization. We'll check it once. Yeah. So reflecting, we'll just click on this. Fine. So the first task is bank statement creation through manual process. Before we go and create the bank statement, just we'll look into the data availability. Okay, from payables, the payment information is flowing to cash management or not. We'll go and verify. So for that, we can just go to manual reconciliation. We are not going to do manual reconciliation, just to view the data we are taking this navigation. Okay, go to manual reconciliation, and here we can see a specific application related, a specific bank account related data which is flowing from payables or receivables. You can go with our bank account. Our bank account is Google corporate account. Now search. See, two records. One is system records and the other one is bank statement records. Okay, you can see in the one place. So system transactions. Yes, there are three payments which are processed, 1001, 2, 3 with the different amounts. Since this is a payments means outflow, they are just showing in the negative side. So receipts means they'll show in the positive side. Okay. So in the receivables, this is a new instance. Again, we don't have any receipts. That's the reason receipts are not coming. Otherwise, once you select the bank account with the same bank account, whatever the receipts are there, those will display here. Before that, we have to remit those receipts. We know that is a process. So what we can do is now we can go to create the bank statement. The bank statement information will be displayed here, and the system transactions will get displayed here. Manually you can select and you can do the manual reconciliation. If you want to perform the auto reconciliation, we have a separate setups which need to be executed. Okay, this is how we can find the specific application data, this payment data which is coming from source called as payables. Now just I'll make a snapshot of this. By taking this data as a reference, we'll create the bank statement. I'll treat this is the data which I received from the banker. Okay, and I'll treat this information as a bank statement data which I received from the banker, and we'll go and create the bank statement. Fine. So now we'll see how to create the bank statement through manual process. So go to task list, say create bank statement. Select bank account. Google corporate account, and the period, start date and end date for this bank statement. May say like this bank statement date range is from 1st June to till today. And statement ID, bank statement number, just any number you can enter. The opening balances and the closing balances. If you have real statement, yes, you can enter that information here. Now we don't have real statement, right? So directly we can go and enter the statement lines. So go to statement lines, click on add. So booking date, it's nothing but payment date and receipt date. Today only, right? Today only we process these payments. Today date you can select and specify reconciliation reference on what base you are going to do the reconciliation. So check number, we'll go with the check number 1001. Transaction code, bank transaction code we created as a 888, right? Select it. Transaction type is check. Flow indicator, this is a payment or receipt. Okay, payment or receipt. So when you make the payment, that would be debited to us, right? So debit. How much amount? 5 lakhs. Done. You can say create another. We'll create two more statement lines. Booking date is today. It's nothing but the transaction date, payment date, or receipt date, and reconciliation reference. Say payments we are using. Check as a reconciliation criteria. 1002. Transaction code is check. Flow indicator is this is a payment, so it will debit to us. Paying means that debits. So $25,000. And say create another. Booking date and reconciliation reference check number 1003. Transaction code 888. Type is check. Flow indicator is debit. If it is a receipt, you can select flow indicator as a credit and enter amount. That is the difference. That's all. You can use same transaction code under type check only, and you can enter it that way depending on which payment type method you are using. Amount is $20,000. Done. You can say okay. We created bank statement lines. 3 lines we created. 3 are payments. Then say save and close. So now
Lakshmi,
add the yeah.
what would the bank charges and bank interest if we receive from the bank charge something and we receive in a statement? How
Yeah,
it
yeah,
can be
that will
done
be
here?
covering. It's external cash transactions, nothing but bank charges. Will be
Okay,
covering.
okay, thank you.
How manually we can add,
Sure.
or else based on the bank statement lines, how system can create automatically as a system transaction for bank charges will be covering.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, fine. The external cash transaction, nothing but bank charges. Okay, we'll done. We created bank statement. Now we have a bank statement one side, other side we have a system transactions. If you want to do the manual reconciliation, this is what I mentioned, bank statement creation. Now we'll see the manual reconciliation. If you want to perform the manual reconciliation, how to do it? Go to manual reconciliation task, select your bank account. Search. Now you can find one side bank statement lines, other side system transactions. Now just you can reconcile. In case of VBS, we'll go to that window and we'll select specific statement line. We have to click on availability. If it is available, we'll select and we'll say reconcile. Similar to that here, the same process, but the two set of records you can see in the same screen. So say for example, you want to do the reconciliation through manual process. Say here check number is as per your bank statement 1003, that you want to reconcile with the system transaction 1003. Select. Now you can say reconcile. Done. This is how manually we can reconcile. If you want to see the reconciled statement lines, you can go to reconcile tab, select your bank account, then click on search. You can see reconcile lines, okay, here as a groups. So this is statement line, this is the payables payment record, these two got reconciled. So this is how you can perform the manual reconciliation. Say you want to do the auto reconciliation. Okay, you want to do the auto reconciliation. In case of auto reconciliation, in EBS, what we do, just will create the bank transaction codes. Those we will associate with the bank statement lines and will go and submit the auto reconciliation program. That's how we can do the reconciliation. But here we have to set the criteria, we have to create some matching rules, and that you have to group into rule set that you have to associate with the bank account, then only you'll be able to perform the automatic reconciliation in the Fusion. We'll see that process. So when you talk about auto reconciliation, so in EBS it's a simple like send the bank transaction codes and go and run the auto reconciliation program. But in the Fusion we have to create the matching rules. The matching rules for what purpose? Reconciliation, bank statement reconciliation. Say create bank statement reconciliation matching rules. Okay, so after creating the matching rules, we have to create the rule set also, bank statement reconciliation rule set. You can take multiple rules into the rule set. Then finally that you have to assign to bank account. Once we complete these setups, then system will allow us to perform the auto reconciliation. Say perform auto reconciliation. Anyway, for at the time of bank statement creation only, bank transaction codes are mandatory. So for all the statement lines we have bank transaction codes. So separately you don't need to create and assign those, they made it as a mandatory. So when we are going to perform auto reconciliation, we don't need to look at that point. That became the basic definition. So these are the setups we have to complete. First we'll go and create the bank statement matching rules. Criteria, on what base system has to what I can say, like it has to reconcile the statement lines, bank statement lines with the system transactions, by following which criteria the transaction should be reconciled. Those you can specify in this definition. You can go to project or directly you can go to search. Fine. So bank statement reconciliation matching rules. Matching rules nothing but criteria. Okay. Just click on that go to task icon. Okay, so here just click on create. So you can create the rules, matching rules, the criteria rules for reconciliation application wise, or same rule you may apply for multiple applications. Say Google matching rule. Now we have only payables data, payments. You can select this is applicable for payables only. And what is the matching criteria? By default matching criteria is amount. Apart from that, what criteria you want to use? You want to use a reconciliation reference. Nothing reconciliation reference, what we given, check number. Check number you may use as a criteria as well as date also. If you have exact information with the exact dates you entered the system, in that case you can use it. And match type, how it has to be matched, one to one or one to many. That means that one transaction, I mean, one record with a multiple state, one statement with one system record, or many with one, or many with many to many. How you want to do it, you can do it. Now as of now we have one to one only, just for each record, one record only we have. We can go with this option. And if you have a receivables related pay receipts and all, you can enable this. Now we have only payables payments. This matching rule would be enough for our reconciliation. Done. So in the same way, if you create multiple, you want to have to group into set. Here we have next to that as a bank statement reconciliation rule sets. Go to this task. You can group multiple matching rules. You may create separate rules, one for payables, one for receivables. Is all you can group. But here we created only one that will be selected. So Google rule set. Just click on add. Select the rule set, Google matching rule. And say OK. We have multiple rule sets, matching rules. You can add here. Say save and close. Now this we have to assign to our bank account. This criteria, all these criteria which we have in this rule set need to be applicable for which bank account. Go to bank accounts. Manage bank accounts. So bank account name is Google corporate account. Just click on edit. And go to controls section. Okay, go to control section. So here we have automatic reconciliation rule set. Select our rule set. Google rule set. That's all. Okay. So if you don't assign this rule set to this bank account, with this bank account or the bank statements we have, we cannot take them for auto reconciliation. System won't consider. Whenever you submit auto reconciliation, you look at this rule set which is associated. Done. Okay, now just we completed all these setups. We created matching rules. Those we grouped into rule set, and that we assigned rule set we assigned to bank account. What we assigned? Assign rule set to bank account. Now we will go and perform the auto reconciliation. With the help of this rule set which is associated bank account level, system will perform the reconciliation. To perform the auto reconciliation, you can just go to cash management. Under cash management, we have a task called as bank statements under reconciliations. Click on the task. And go to task list. And here you can see task called as submit auto reconciliation. Just click on the task. And we want to submit the auto reconciliation for which bank account. Whenever you select the bank account, system will look for rule set which is associated with that bank account. So but we can type here. Statement ID is not required. I think we given the statement ID also. If you have multiple statement with this account, you may select, otherwise ignore it. Okay. The from statement and date. So that is, you can keep as this, no issues. Submit. That is start date and end date. Basically. Done. Now it will trigger the job. You can go to schedule process to see that. Anyway, not required directly. Now we'll go and verify. So you can go to, just to verify, just you can go to manual reconciliation to see the data. Google corporate account search. If you look at unreconciled with this bank statement, sorry. So no data we have. That means we don't have any unreconciled transactions in this application which are related to bank statement lines or system transactions. Okay, now go to reconcile and click on search. Here below you could see the three lines we have total in the bank statement as well as system. Three got reconciled. All are reconciled through auto reconciliation. Okay, that's how we can perform the auto reconciliation. Now we'll look at the topic called as external cash transactions. Okay, external cash transaction. External cash transaction means their bank statement, bank charges. So if you want to deal with the bank charges, how to enter the bank charges in the application, we'll go and see that. So you want to enter the bank charges into this bank statement. So go to manage bank statements. So this is a bank statement we have. Click on the statement ID. So go to statement lines. So you could see three lines we have, three are reconciled. Okay, three are reconciled. One second. So here select and go with the edit mode so that it will allow you to add new lines also. Three lines we have, three are reconciled. Now you order some bank charges from the banker. You want to add bank charges here. So click on add. So the bank charges you can create a separate transaction code. So here just I'm adding and here you can go with a transaction code called as a fee. Nothing but bank charges. I'm going to select 661. That's a fee. Say we are paying this bank charges. So debit, how much? Say $10. So this is how you can enter. Say okay. Now these are available. This the bank statement. These are available in the bank statement. So this is how manually you can just enter the this bank charges in the bank statement. The same whatever you have in the bank statement. Okay, the state bank charges whatever you have in the bank statement, the same you want to automatically generate in the application. Okay, this is a manually just creating the bank charges, external cash transaction. So manually you can just create in this. This is how you can create the bank charges you can enter into the application. So okay, we entered into this bank statement. Okay, to statement you entered. And if you want to enter into application, the same bank charges as a system transaction, you have to go to this external cash transaction. We're going to create manual cash transaction. This will fall into system transaction. The earlier one which we created, that system takes as a statement line. Now just you can go with can go with the BU specific also. And how much amount? $10. And transaction type fee. And cash account and offset account should be bank charges account. Bank charges account you have to select, but just for testing any account you can use, but offset account should be bank charges. So here enter -10, we are paying, so you can enter -10. Okay, here no flow indicated, right? So this is how you have to enter. Say save and close. Now the external cash transaction we are entering. Instead of it is flowing from other application, directly you are creating, and the other side in the bank statement we have the same line. Now you can just go to manual reconciliation. Google corporate account. Sorry, so under reconciled, go to unreconciled section. Google corporate account and search. Now the bank statement line is coming from bank statement, and here systems and transaction is coming from the external cash transaction which you manually we created. Source is external. So these manually you can reconcile like this. This is how manually you can enter in the bank statement, and the same again you have to enter into the system. Now say your requirement is you will get from the banker, but you don't want to enter in the system same, that has to be auto created in the system, as well as it should be auto reconciled. If that is your requirement, okay, so generate automatically external transaction. Now external transaction, the bank charges we entered through manually in the system, if you are going to load, that will come into system as a part of bank statement. But when you talk about external transaction creation, just now we created manually and we reconcile manually. If you want to auto generate and auto reconcile, we have to do some setups which will support that creation and matching. Okay, now we'll see how to create the external cash transactions automatically based on the bank statement, bank charges, and how those can be reconciled automatically. Okay, we'll see that. So however, we did some setups related to auto reconciliation. The same way for external transaction also we have to do the relevant setups. Okay, so first we have to create transaction creation rules. Say create bank statement transaction creation rules. Okay, so the creation rule we have to define, and we have to do the mapping also with the external cash transaction creation. Say create cash transaction type mapping. So after that, this we have to assign to bank account. Assign to bank account, for which bank statement related bank charges need to be created as a external transaction automatic. The rules will be defined in this. Okay, once we're done with that, we can generate external cash transactions automatically. You don't need to enter. Once that bank charges are available in the bank statement, those will be created as a system transactions also automatically, as well as auto reconciliation also will happen for this. Generate external cash transactions. Yeah, just say transactions. Sorry. Done. First, we'll go to create the bank statement transaction creation rules. So here, so this we have to do from FSM or from project. Let's do from FSM directly. You can do it. Manage bank statement transaction creation rules. Just click on create. Say Google transaction creation rules. Select your legal entity. The statement line identification criteria. Identification criteria is a fee. With the fee, by selecting the type as fee, there may be multiple transaction codes which are created. Yes, two are there. Now we'll use 698. The transaction type fee only. So with the LE we can proceed. BU is not required. If you want to select BU specific codes you want to maintain, BU specific criteria you want to maintain, you can do that. You can ignore it or you can select it. I think this won't makes any difference. If you have multiple business units, in that case, if you are going to create this rule creation separately with the different criteria, different codes, then that will be useful. Okay. Here provide cash account and offset account. Offset account is nothing but bank charges account. Just remember this transaction code. This is very important in the further process. 698. So cash checking account. Here you have to provide bank charges account. Fine, done. So this is how we have to create the rule. The code is 6. Okay, we can remember 698. Then say save and close. Done. The next step is cash transaction type mapping. So this is a task, manage cash transaction type mapping. Just click on the task and say create. The type is disbursement. We are going to pay. It's not, we are not receiving as a charges. So disbursement. Select transaction type as a, this is the type you used in the rule, right? So select the same, the fee, and method, how you are going to make the payment. So through check or electronic payment, you can select like how you are going to pay it, that you can select check payment or electronic. Just I'll go with the we can go with the electronic or check anything. Just I'll select electronic, save it. Mapping for this method already exists. Select another method. Okay, for this electronic it's already there, just showing. We will change it. So here, so disbursement electronic. Here electronic is already there. We'll edit it. We can use this. So our transaction type is fee. Disbursement fee electronic. This is what we want to define. Just say save and close. Done. So now we have to assign this rule to bank account. So assign sorry, rule to bank account. Go to bank account. So go to controls, and here you can scroll little down. Bank statement transaction creation rules. Here you have to add that rule. Click on add that rule. Google transaction creation rule. That's all. Say save and close. Done. Now what we can do is we can go and add one line in the bank statement. Create bank charges line in bank statement, and based on that line we'll generate the cash transaction. The system automatically, then system will perform the reconciliation also automatically. Go to bank statement. Go to bank statements. So here you can go to manage bank statements. Expand this. Select statement. Click on edit. So you may say booking date is today. So plus this reconciliation, so automatically it will get created. If you want to enter some number, enter, otherwise not required. Transaction code. So this is the one which we selected in the rule definition. 698. And flow indicator debit. We are paying how much? Say we are paying $25 and say OK. Now say save and close. Now you can generate cash transaction. System will create it automatically. Just you enter the bank charges $25 in the bank statement. The same information system will convert as a bank system transaction, as well as it will reconcile automatically. For that you have to go to task list. Under external cash transactions, say here like say generate cash transaction. Under bank statements, say generate bank statement, because based on the bank statement information we are going to create it. So select your bank account, and ID only one we have, which we added, that you may select, then say submit. Now automatically system will create the system transaction with the $25 and it will reconcile automatically. whatever system created, if you want to see, you can go to manage transactions. You can search with bank account. One we created through manual process, $10, right? The other one system created one, you can see now. The $25 system created. Origin is bank statement. Based on the bank statement it created, it reconciled also. So that's how you can create the cash transactions automatically by using this. Okay, so that's all about this testing. So manual, automatic, external transactions. So the pending topics here, customers, automatic research, and we'll see this. Okay, tomorrow session we can start with the general ledger application. And this anyway we'll be covering. Okay, before we complete, we'll see that. To test this, AR need to be configured in this environment. And once AR is configured, this 2 we can test. I think using this 3 we can test. Invoice approvals, these are not working in the multiple instances. Anyway, before we complete, we'll test that also. We'll see results. Okay. The tomorrow session we can start with the general ledger application. After completing this, we can work on these pending concepts. That's how we can close these sessions by max this weekend. Okay. So that's all for today. Any questions from anyone, please?